Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. In today's video I'm going to be showing you a sizable amount of gold. It's not my best order, it's probably one of my bigger orders that I've done. Where did I put the sheet? How much was the order? So the order was just under 19 grand. I bought most of it with cash and then there was a bit of a kickback. Let's get into it. I know you guys want to see the coins. So it's not the best stock. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. It's what I call bread and butter. There were certain coins I wasn't happy with. I think had you seen me earlier there would have been steam coming out my ears over a few things. Wasn't happy with the trade whatsoever. I will get into it. I kind of feel like I was sucker punched, but you know, sometimes that's the way it works. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's not always you get good stock, easy to stock, good looking stock, you know, the higher margin stock. It's kind of like mining. So you're gonna have parts of the pit that are really super profitable, and sometimes you don't even, it's not because you've ripped someone off, it's because you've held something and it's become in trend, or the gold price has ticked up, you know. And there's other times where it's super hard work and you feel like you're grinding out results, and I feel today's stock is one of those things. So I've got 3 of these. These are quintuples. They're not raw mint. I literally slapped these up for spot plus 1% plus post. Get them in, move them on. Someone else can, I would say, enjoy them. I think they've got faces that only their mother probably would slap as well. They're not that great. So I'm not even going to show you. I don't think anyone's going to have any interest in that. But there was 3 of those. There was another 2 quintuples that were non-royal mint. There's absolutely tons in front of me, but I will show you the other 2 if I can find them. Not that one. So I ended up selling a few things today. I had to. I wasn't really in a position not to sell it. It's one of the reasons why I was fuming earlier, because I wasn't expecting there to be so much. I gave the supplier kind of an upper bound of what I could spend, and then it clobbered me for another few K on stock I didn't want, which, again, it is what it is. So these are both quintuples. These have been sold. So this one went to a dealer. I just said to him, I was like, if you're making a lot of money on it, don't tell me. I don't want to know. It's like, coins in, coins out. But these were the 5 non-royal mint coins. So I'm going to put these back to one side. This is a beaut, by the way. I will show you. I think this is a great looking coin. I really do. I'm not trying to like big it up, you know. I genuinely think this is a good looking coin. Would I buy it if this was royal mint? You know, it wouldn't be at the top of my list of things to buy, but it's not a bad looking coin. It really isn't. And then the Queen Vicky. So not really my cup of tea. I understand why someone's bought it. Maybe it's worth a bit more. I'm not really a fan of the quintuples from other mints. Now let's put these to one side. I don't want to mix these up. So bear in mind, here alone is what, £8,500 worth of stock. I might make £20 a coin on these. It's not a good way to kind of trade. It really isn't. I was under the impression that there was only 3. So when I pitched a price, I knew there was better stock here, and I pitched a price at spot. There's no way I would have paid spot for these in most circumstances. So that's probably why I was a bit annoyed earlier, because I felt like at 3 it was worth my time. At 5 it's not. It just isn't. And that's okay. You know, it doesn't always go to plan. That really is okay. So these 2 are sold, so I'm going to put these to one side. Don't want to be losing them. Let's put them there. And then there was some more. There's loads, by the way, absolutely loads. So these were all kind of sovereigns. These quarters. That's a quarter. Maybe this is a quarter. I think these were the quarters actually. Yeah, these are quarters. So there was like sovereign style coins, and then there was quarters. So this is also, yep, this is also a quarter. We're going back to kind of the royal themes. Back in the day, they were kind of popular. Not so much now. A lot of these are trash. You've just seen this one. This one's sold. You would have seen it in a quintuple. I just showed you it. Someone's bought this, which is fair enough. I just slapped 750 on top of the spot price. Get it in and move it on. De-risk it. They're not good quality stock, and that's okay. But it doesn't mean they can't be a good investment in terms of spot. Here we go. So this is a sovereign size. Gibraltar sovereign. Gibraltar sovereign. This is the same coin. So I end up getting 5 sovereign sized coins. Same specs, just not from the Royal Mint. Alderney sovereign. Yep. I think this one's kind of nice. I'll give it some airtime. I believe this is kind of similar to the 5 pence piece, and they've just slapped 25 on it because of the gold. I thought that was alright. I saw it and I was like, it's not a bad design really. And then there was this one, so Golden Jubilee. Again, royal themed. Now the guy who ended up selling these to my supplier, he got these in inheritance. Jersey sovereign. I thought this was okay. You know, I thought this was an okay coin. So these have been sold. These 5 were sold for spot plus £5. Again, not charging the earth. Get them in, move them on. Where I spent so much today, my liquidity has been absolutely wrecked to the point that I have an order lined up tomorrow. I had to message the gentleman and say, I'm really sorry, buddy, but I might not have your funds. Now, that's not the case. I've since resolved that. But I felt like a proper idiot having to message him over something that I felt wasn't really my fault. It was my fault, but it stung a little because I was like, well, I've kind of been suckered into this, considering the outlay was meant to be 12k and not 19. Right, let's see what else came in. So this came in. I've had this before. This is a quarter. I sold these for spot last time. I just got rid of them spot rows, and I'll get rid. This came in, so this is a ½ ounce. This is an issue some of the coins have. They got slight tested marks. That's another reason why I was slightly peeved. So they're bad. Just to kind of break it down, to give you like a professional perspective. So when I agreed spot off the back that some of the coins I should be paying slightly under spot, and some of the coins I'd be paying slightly over spot. When you get coins like this, they got tested marks and they come from a secondary mint. They're not really collectible, whether they're royal or they're out of favour. You know, you shouldn't be paying spot professionally. You just shouldn't. If I was to buy this off a member of the public, I would probably be quoting them 97, 98 on them. And it's not because it's not because I don't feel I can get more than spot. I just know it's a very tough sell to sell ½ ounce that looks like this with testing marks, and not many people want it, so you tend to have to reduce it down to spot to move it on, and that just is what it is. I know people don't want to hear that. I'm just giving you an honest and just an honest review of how I trade and how I see it as a professional. Now this coin here, this is a 5th, again testing. This might sell because it's smaller. You're talking 6.22 grams. Would someone, you know, buy that? I might get spot plus 5% out of this. Even with this, it's not great, but it's okay. I wasn't too annoyed. It's not a you know, look at that. It's just not good. It really isn't. It is what it is. The next one I kind of liked. Again, there's not really much value in it. So this is the Falcon Islands, 50 pence, 25th anniversary from 1982. Why you want to celebrate war, I don't know, but it is what it is. It's not even from the UK, so Gibraltar. Didn't mind this. I think it's because like my dad was meant to go to the Falklands. He was serving with the engineers. I don't believe he went. I think he had pneumonia. I think it was pneumonia. So yeah, 50p, 100 of them. Will I be making a massive premium on this? I'm probably just going to put it in a reserve and hold out for the right buyer. You know, I'll probably try and get 3 or 4% out of this. I think there will be someone who wouldn't mind that just because of the military theme. Right, now that's the, I don't want to say crap stock out the way. That's the stock that I should have paid less on. That's okay. It's not always about winning on absolutely everything. Sometimes you have to play the game a little when buying. Let's talk about the good stock. Let's go for the good stuff. And there is a fair amount of it. It's not as much as I was hoping. This wasn't on this order. This come back from another guy. This has been sold. I originally sold it to him. It had marks there, but I ended up getting it in and moving it on. Then there were these. So these have subsequently been sold. The reason the 2012s here is because the gentleman bought all 3. So you got 1 Gillick and you've got 1 matching, I believe. I should know. It's late. I think it's like 1 o'clock, 12:30. So these both went. I thought these were nice. I didn't think they were specifically worth that much more than what I typically sell for a sovereign. They did okay. So let's put these to one side because they have been bought. I had a shield come in. Now this is where I've got my business brain on. When I offered spot, I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be some bits that I might struggle with, but I'm looking at the overall picture. What things am I not going to struggle with? Now this will go for 400 posted. Now if I paid spot on this overall, this has cost me 345. So you take out the postage, about £7, 352. It's a £42 coin. Now if I'm buying say 19k worth of stock, the bare minimum I want to be hitting is 5%. Anything below 5%, you're putting yourself in trouble. You're just asking for it. It's easy on sovereigns. So sovereigns come in at 3%, they go out at 3%. You're going to hold them for a limited amount of time. For anything that's not, you want to be aiming for slightly more because you need to take into account the risk of holding it. It doesn't really matter with sovereigns. So this came in. I was happy. I was over the moon. I usually pay more for shields when buying. So of course I'm happy with that. Now this is where I was slightly annoyed as well. So I knew there was some proof sovereigns. So I'm thinking, I'm going back to, is it going to balance out if I pay spot? Well, what's the condition of the proof sovereigns like? Bust on this. So when I'm buying through my supplier and I'm paying up front and I can't see the stock, when I get stuff like this, it's very hard not to be annoyed because you kind of build a picture in your head and you're like, well, I'll offer him a reasonable amount or offer them a reasonable amount. The same with customers, but you get the luxury of seeing it. And when this comes in, it's just a complete and utter bust. There's no value in this really above a sovereign. You can't even send it off. You can get it graded and conserved. What's the point? It's 2006. Yeah, there's no reason to do so. So this was a bust. I was pretty annoyed about this one. There was one coin in there that it's why I offered spot across the board. So 2005 proof sovereign. Now I know when these are in good condition, these go for money. Again, it's got issues. It's not going to grade a 70. Do I care? No, not really. I just need to get this cleaned up so it looks appealing to a buyer. I paid spot for it. Okay, it's got issues there, but you want to clean this up. You want to get this to a point where someone looks and thinks, you know what, that's a nice coin. I can't afford to go out and buy a PF70 or PF69. That's going to cost me maybe 600 plus. But this coin here, it's going to cost me, say, £500 in a PF68 if it's cleaned up and it looks good. Now, if I'm paying 345 on it, by the time I paid for the grading costs, it's been cleaned up, it's certainly worth my time, and it balances out with what I paid overall. Was disappointed. I was disappointed because I wanted to sell it straight away, but it will need conservation, and that's okay. You know, you can't win them all. That one I'm happy to send it off. So that's number 2. Then there was this one. Wasn't that one? That's the one I just showed you. This was a bit of touch. So this is a 1988 proof. Again, this is one of the reasons why I offered spot. This will be going for grading. So what am I going to get out of this? I'd hope after grading, it's going to be a 500 plus coin. Will it get a PF70? I don't know. You know, I never know. But like I've always said, it doesn't bother me if I get 70s or not. I just need to move things up the value curve. There's no box of COA. So naturally in my head, grading is the way to go. Now, if I have it in my head, it's going to get a 69 and then bam, it gets a 70. Happy days. But I'm already pricing it in for it not to be a 70. So that's how I kind of do my numbers on coins like that. Right, let's see what we got here. It's too much stock. Okay. There's 3 more coins. Let's move these out of the way. So some of this stuff is sold. Most of it I need to move on. Right, 2010 Sovereign. Again, paid spot. Let's see what the conditions like. I haven't actually checked this. No, so this is a POM coin. See it? Will I get this graded and encapsulated? It's hard to say. I'd need a second opinion on this one. It's definitely not a 70, but when you pay spot on it, it's okay. It's not good. If I really wanted to, I could just slap 400 quid on it and be done with it. I'm not going to do that. I think there will be value uplift if I get it graded and conserve it so there's good eye appeal. So there's that one. There's this coin here. This one needs conservation. Now I think there's a good chance of value uplift on this. Again, I paid spot across the board. It's got this. I've seen this before on many coins. This can be solved. It's not a problem. I'm not going to hazard a guess to the grade. It's got a mark there. But I don't think this is the worst. Again, I don't need it to be a 70. I just need it to have eye appeal. So this will go in to get sorted. And last but not least, I'm sorry it's such a long video. You know, I kind of wanted to put it on one. I didn't really want to break it down into 2. Last but not least, I got this. So this is a 2006 Brunel. These are pretty rare. I couldn't even find much. I couldn't find much about them. You know, it needs a little clean up. You know, that's fine. This will go in for grading anyway. It always was going to go in for grading. Yeah, this is the other side. You know, I'd be happy with my chances on that. Nothing's a given, you know, in grading coins, but I wouldn't have a problem sending that in. You know, if a customer said to me, does it have a chance? I'd say to them, I do think it's got a chance. I don't see any issues with it. It's a very striking coin. It's probably the best one out of everything I've got here. But overall, yeah, I paid spot on this. A lot of it is trash, you know. But one man's trash is another man's treasure. It all depends on what side of the equation you're looking at. If you're buying it for weight, does it really matter? If you can pick something up for £5 over, you know, £1 over a gram or something silly, or less than £1 over a gram, you're doing very well. I don't think anyone can complain at that whatsoever. It's not my best trade, and that's okay. It really is okay. There's going to be good trades and there's going to be bad trades. I hope you enjoy the next lot I have coming in. It's got some nice bits in. It's only about 4.5k. I've got another auction lot as well, and then I'll be ploughing through the stamps. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you've really gained something from this video. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's not always easy, and sometimes you do get left holding the baby, and that's okay. And I'll see you on the next one.